Okay, solve the equation. Okay, so how many answers does the equation have? 2. Because x to the second. You've also got x with it. Now I've made a killer sheet here, okay, for your factoring procedures, which I'll get to here in a moment, okay. So you have to use your factoring properties. You will not be able to get these together, okay. Now you need to get 0. Okay, so move that 18x out of here. Now you can't go here because that's multiplied by x to the second. So there's really no x for it to go with, so I hang it out. Then I put equals 0, and then I have x second, and I have x, but I don't have a constant. Okay, there is no constant. It's just -3 and -18. So here's a 0. How many terms are over here? Looks like 2. Okay, so 2 terms. 2 terms is a binomial. To factor, you do GCF and then see if you have a difference of perfect squares. Okay. Now that you're equal to 0, you want to put that, and then you see if you have a difference of perfect squares. So, you check your last of the terms for the x. Guess what? It's there, okay? You check, again, here's how to do a GCF. You check the final term for a variable. Yeah, I had one, okay, it's x. See, there was no constant term, so it's x. Check the first term for negative. It's there, okay? So if the front's negative, you got to put a negative in your GCF slot, okay? Okay, 3 and 18. Now you find the GCF of the coefficients, 3 and 18. So 3, 18, so it'd be 3. So -3x. So you go up here and divide each of these by -3x. The x's will cancel right there. -3 divided by -3 is 1. X second divided by x. So that's like taking x times x divided by an x. So that leaves me with x. -18 divided by -3 is +6, okay? Now, when you do the GCF, you put it over here. Now cross that out, okay? Now, you can take the 1 off the x. You have a plus sign, so you put no. If you have a plus sign right away, it doesn't matter what's on either side, okay? No. So you just keep that as x plus 6. Now you solve it, f1, f2. So, -3x could equal 0, or x plus 6 could equal 0. So, times -3, you just divide by -3, and x would equal 0. Then over here, plus 6, you're going to minus 6 to get rid of that, and x would be -6. Okay, my next problem, we have x to the second power plus 18x plus 20 equals 8x minus 4. So we have 2 answers for x, okay. We have x to the second and we have x, so again that means you have to factor to solve the problem. I need 0 here, so I got to take both of these out, okay. So minus 8x, that's just an x, so it would go with the positive 18x, and then plus 4, because that's a -4, that would go with the 20. Now we slot it. So I put equals 0 first, So we have x second, we have x, and we have a constant this time. So x second, you got 1. 18 minus 8 is 10, 20 plus 4 is 24. Now you're set. Now how many terms are we factoring? This problem, when I did that, there was only 2, but now there's 3, okay? 3 terms. So, GCF, again, 3 terms is a trinomial, it's GCF and the table, okay? So if you check the last of the three terms, there's no letter. The front of it's positive, so the GCF will be positive. Now the coefficients 1, 10, and 24, those are only in row 1. So don't do it, okay? So you're not going to put a GCF. ABC comes from up here then, okay? 1 times 24 is 24. It's positive, so that's a match. So put 2 signs that match. You have to add to positive 10. I know what some of you are thinking. I'll figure it out. You're adding to the B, whatever the B is. That's why it's important you label the ABC. So 24 divided by 1 is 24. No. Now divide by 2. 12. No. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 3 and 8. That's close. That's negative 11. It's got to be 10. Okay. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Now if I put that, that's negative 6. Now what do I do when I have that problem? Well, I just switch them both to positive. They still match, but now they add to 10. Now what's your A? Your A is 1x to the power of 2. Okay. Well, you got to look at the last, where the x second was, and at the last part it's 1. Okay. So you have a plus 4, a plus 6. Now you know the x second has to go to xx. 1, 1, and 1. Now 1 and 4 would only turn up in the first row. If you want to divide by 1, fine, but really you can just cross out the 1 and bring it over. Same with 1 and 6. You can divide by 1, it's not going to change it. Okay, it's already in simplest form. Take the 1 off. Equals 0. So F1, F2. So x plus 4 could equal 0, or x plus 6 could equal 0. That would be negative 4 then. And that would be negative 6. Okay. Okay, next problem. 12x to the second power minus 12x minus 105 equals 0. Okay, so there's two answers for x. You have x to the second and you have x. Okay. So you are factoring. You are set at the 0. That's good. So there's 3 terms. So it's 3. It's a 3-term problem. Okay. So you're set. So then you count the terms, set it equal to 0. If you're set, how many terms do we have on this side? 3. GCF T-table. Don't worry about this stuff down here. I'm not seeing the letter, okay? I'm not seeing the negative. Now I look at 12, 12, and 105, okay? Not in 12s, okay? Then 6s, nope, okay? Next place 12 turns up is in 4's row. Okay, 105 you ran out of room, so what you do is you put a 4 up there, okay? Just put it up there. You know 12 is going to divide by 4, it's 3. How about 105? Nope, it didn't work, so I cross out or erase the 4, okay? Well, where else is 12? Okay, well, it's in 3's row, so 105. Okay, you run out of room, so then now put 3. Remember, no decimals. 12 divided by 3 is 4. That's 4. How about 105 divided by 3? Yep, okay, that works. It's $35. Okay, so yeah, 3 is what I put here. Not with negative, not with x. Okay. Alright, so I divide. That's going to be 4. You're not dividing the x to the second. Okay. That's negative 4. You're not dividing the x, it stays. That's going to be negative 35. We found that. So you pretty much have to, when you run out of room, you just go in the row, put it up there, divide it. It's a decimal. You got to move up. Okay, if it's not, you have it. Okay, so we get this 3 out of here. Then you go ABC. Okay, 4 times negative 35. Negative 140. Okay, so that's a mismatch. And you're going to go positive, negative. Okay. You are adding to try to get to what the B is, which in this case is not negative 12 any longer. It is now negative 4. Okay. So the ABC now is here, not the original. It's been kicked out. Okay, so I start dividing. It's not 1 in 140. Okay. 140 divided by 2 is 70. Add those, no. 140 divided by 3 is decimal, skip it. Divided by 4 is 35. No, okay. 140 divided by 5 is 28. I'm still way wide. 140 divided by 6, decimal. 140 divided by 7 is 20. 7 and 20. Nope. 8 decimal. 9's a decimal. 10 cha-ching. 10 and 14. Okay. Finally, I got to it. Negative 4. Found it. Now, what's the A? It ain't 12. It's 4. 4x to the second. So you put your plus 10. You put your minus 14. Then x seconds, xx. And then 4. Just put a 4 applied in front. Now 4 and 10, nope, both in 2's row, so we need to divide that by 2, put it in simplest form, 2x plus 5. Okay, 4 and 14, nope, 4, 14, 2 again, okay, so 2x minus 7. That was a fun one, okay. Now you put equals 0. Now this 3 is there, but it doesn't have the x variable. F1, F2 would come from here. See, that 3 doesn't contain x. So 2x plus 5 could equal 0, or 2x minus 7 could equal 0. 2 times x, 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Then you divide by 2. That's negative 2.5. Or if you second, I'm fine with negative 2.5, or you can second PRB it into a negative 2.5. Now over here, plus 7, that would be 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, okay? You can write that, or you can second PRB it into 3.5. I don't care, okay? All right, next problem. X to the third power plus 5x to the second power minus 9x minus 45 equals 0. So we have 3 answers because we have x to the third. Now we've also got x to the second and x, so we have to factor. So you're set. Now you count how many terms you have to factor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So 4 terms. That's grouping, and we have to check that big parentheses for adopts. Okay? There it is. There's the setup. Put GCF on those lines there. Okay, you're just essentially copying what's in here. Then if you don't want to draw that line, just make a little parentheses and a big parentheses. But remember, you got to check that one to see if you have a DOPS. Okay, so you put the 1x to the third plus the 5x to the second. Then you put your negative 9x with the negative 45. Okay. Now GCF, remember the rules. In here, these two. We just made it two binomials. Check the final term for a variable. It's there. X, it's to the second power. The front's positive. Then find the GCF of the coefficients. 1 and 5 is 1. Okay. X, no. Check the front for a negative. It's there. Okay. Then 9 and 45. Oh, 9. Okay. So then you go up here and divide by 1x to the second, both of these, okay? And then negative 9 on both of these. So these x seconds cancel. 1 divided by 1 is 1. X third divided by x second. So that's x times x times x divided by x times x. That leaves us with an x. 5 divided by 1 is 5, okay? Then over here is the same thing, 1x plus 5. You can see that's positive 1x, positive 5. So the 1x plus 5, okay, goes right here. That's 1x plus 5. Then I cross those out, and I put 1x to the second with negative 9. Okay, take the 1's off the x's, okay. The x plus 5 goes over here. DOPS, you bet. You got a minus x times x, 3 times 3. Doesn't get much more obvious DOPS than that. So x plus 3, x minus 3 equals 0. So F1, F2, F3. So x plus 5 could equal 0, x plus 3 could equal 0, or x minus 3 could equal 0. So you minus 5 from each of these, you get negative 5. You minus 3 from each of these, you get negative 3. Then if I plus 3 to both of these, I get positive 3. Okay, negative 5, negative 3, 3. Okay, next problem. We have 10x to the second power plus 14x plus 7 equals 2x to the second power plus 14. So there are two answers because of the x to the second. You know that right away. And you've also got x to the first within the equation. So these can't be combined. We have to use factor principles. You need to get this side at 0. So you take out your 2x to the second, and that can go nicely with the 10x to the second. You take out your plus 4, and that can go with the positive 7. Now slot it. X seconds in the house, so is x, and you're going to have constant as well, equals 0. Put the equals 0 first before you do that. I didn't do that very well. Okay. So x second, 10 minus 2 is 8. 14, 7 minus 4 is 3. Now how many terms do we have to factor now? Looks to me like 3. Okay. So GCF table. Check your last term. No variable there. Front's positive, so we don't place a negative. Then find the GCF for your coefficients, 8, 14, and 3. Nope, not 8. Here's 8 again, nope. 8, nope. It's just 1, okay? So if it's 1, don't do it. So we're not going to place a parentheses there for that. A, B, C. Positive 8 times positive 3 is positive 24. So that's a match. Okay, put two signs that match. You can put negative, negative, or positive, positive. Doesn't matter. You are adding to the B. Now what's our B? 14, of course. Okay. Okay, so I divide, 24 divided by 1 is 24. That's not going to make that. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Now if I add a -2 to a -12, that's -14. To get it to be a positive, you just go positive, positive. Boom. Go find your a in the trinomial that you're trying to put. It's 8. 8x to the second. The last time I saw x to the second, it was being multiplied by 8. So, plus 2 plus 12. X, and then you apply coefficients of 8, but 8 and 2 are in the second row. So that's 4x plus 1. 8 and 12, that's not in simplest form either. Nope. 8 and 12 are in the fourth row. 2x plus 3. That's all the factors I have. I put that equal to 0 and I solve it. F1, F2. So 4x plus 1 could equal 0. 2x plus 3 could equal 0. Four times x would equal -1 divided by 4. That's -0.25. That's fine. Second PRB would give you -1/4. 2 times x equals -3 when you subtract 3. That's -1.5. Second PRB would be -1 1/2. Okay. Okay, next problem. X to the third power plus 9x to the second power minus 9x minus 81 equals 0. So this has three solutions to it. Okay. You have x third, you have x second, you have x. Obviously, we're going to have to factor. Okay. So we're set. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 terms. Now you're at 4. Once you're set at 0, you count the terms. You're at 4. Grouping. Set that up. The parentheses plus with the plus sign. And the same thing. Little parentheses, big parentheses. And remember, we check this one for a difference of perfect squares. So you got the 1x to the third plus a 9x to the second. Then the -9x with -81. Okay, remember these are GCFs out here, but they're just in each binomial. So you have a variable to the second. You don't have a negative. Okay, front's positive. 1 and 9's 1. Just put it there. Don't have an x, the front is negative, 9 and 81, 9, 81, so it's 9. So we're going to go up here and divide by 1x to the second, going to go up here and divide by -9. So it's going to be 1 x third divided by x second. Remember how that works. It's x. If you're unsure how to divide x's, do it that way. Then these cancel. Plus 9, because if you divide x second by x second, they're gone, okay? Then that's going to be the same thing, 1x plus 9. So in the little parentheses, I put 1x plus 9. In the little parentheses, I put 1 with x to the second and -9. So we bring this one over, get rid of the 1's off here before we bring them over. So x plus 9. Now, we have a minus x to the second's x times x, 9's 3 times 3. So that leaves me with x plus 3 and x minus 3. F1, F2, F3. So minus 9, you get -9. minus 3, you get negative 3, plus 3, and that's 3. So those are your three solutions. Okay, 4x to the second power minus 20x equals 0. So there's two answers. We have x second and x. We know there's 2 because there's x to the second. The exponent tells me how many answers there are. So we have to factor. We're set. Now over here you count the terms you have. You have 2 GCF and then see if you have a difference of perfect squares. The big GCF. Then DOPS, difference of perfect squares. Sometimes we write no on that, remember. So you check your last term for x, variables there. Not to any power, so you don't have to put a power. Front's positive, 4 and 20 is 4. Okay, so we go up and divide by 4x. Okay, so 4 divided by 4 is 1. To divide the x second by the x, you have x. Negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. To divide the x by the x, well, they pretty much just cancel. That's why, okay? Now you kick that 4x out of here, okay? Take the 1 off the front. You have a minus, but x doesn't have, so this is a no, okay? X would have to be to the second power to be able to be broken up. So I put x minus 5 alongside it, equals 0, f1, f2. So 4x equals 0, x minus 5 equals 0. So you get times 4, you divide by 4, x would equal 0. Minus 5, you add 5, and x would be 5. Okay, last problem. X to the second minus 11x plus 30 equals 0. So there's two answers. You have x to the second. You also have x. Okay, so you are factoring. You're set. How many terms are you set to? 1, 2, 3. It's a trinomial. There are 3. Okay. So GCF. And then the t-chart. Don't have the variable. You don't have the negative. 1, 11, and 30 is just 1. Okay. So, because you're starting in the 1 row, so don't do that. So you're not going to have a GCF factor. 1 times 30 is 30, positive, that's a match. So put 2 signs that match. Add to negative 11, okay. 1 and 30, nope. 2 and 15, that's negative 17. 30 divided by 3 is 10. That's negative 13. We're still too wide. 30 divided by 4 is a decimal. 30 divided by 5 is 6. 5 and 6. Add them. Negative 11. Okay. Go find where your x squared's at. It's right there. It's got a 1 because I didn't do the GCF, so I go to the original 1. I like it when that's 1, means it's already going to be in simplest form. 1, 1. Now you can, they're both in the 1 row. So if they're in the 1 row, dividing it by 1 doesn't do anything. It's already pretty much in simplest form. If you want to do it, do it. And the same goes with that. Okay, you can divide these by 1. It's just going to be the same thing. Remember to take the 1 off. And then F1, F2. So x minus 5 could equal 0, or x minus 6 could equal 0. So x would equal 5, and x would equal 6. 5 and 6. All right.